Hi there. Welcome to Discussions with the Fascia Masters. My name is Deanna Hansen. I'm the founder of Fluid Isometrics and Block Therapy, and we are here with our very special guest, Tami Le Poidevin. Tami, I am so incredibly happy to have you here. So first of all, just to preface, Tami was our very first Block for Bodyworker participant. So welcome, Tami. I would love it if you would dive in, share a little bit about your practice prior to starting this program, and then how it's changed how you approach your clients as well as your own body.
Great. Well, thank you for having me, Deanna. It's my honor and pleasure to be here. I have been in the body work business for about 13 years. And prior to starting with the Block for Body Workers, I did a type of emotional release massage, which was actually very physically demanding for my body. And what I was starting to notice was that I was kind of at an impasse with my clients. I could take them so far, and we had really good success with emotional release and therefore having less pain. But there was just certain things that I wanted to know more about and how to help my clients more with that I just wasn't able to do. I am not a registered massage therapist, and so my anatomy and physiology is limited. And I knew that there was a lot more for me to learn, but I didn't want to go to RMT school. It's 2 years of your life, and I was not ready to stop everything to go do that. So I actually had sent you an email saying, hey, Deanna, do you by any chance ever teach in person again? I'd really love to learn hands-on. But for some reason, that email bounced back, and I said, okay, maybe it's not the right time. And about 2 months later, I got your newsletter, which was introducing the Block for Body Workers program. And about 5 minutes after that, I emailed you and said, what do I need to do? I'm in. So I was really excited to increase my education, my abilities, my skills, and challenge myself a bit. So I was very excited to see that program become available.
Wonderful. I remember exactly that moment when it happened. So I have a few different questions for you because, of course, when we're talking about this practice, we want to understand how it will impact our client. But one of the things that I'm really passionate about is teaching the person doing the work to look after their own bodies, because I believe it's only the average is like 7 years for the massage before, or the practitioner, before your body starts wearing down. And I mean, I experienced that myself in my beginning as an athletic therapist as well, because I always focused on deep tissue work on clients, and it is extremely challenging, especially if you do, 5 to 6 or more hours per day. It doesn't take long before your body really takes the brunt of all of that. So can you share a little bit about how this has impacted your own personal health?
Yeah, and I was finding that too. So 5 years ago, I was about 7, 8 years into doing body work, and I was noticing a couple of different things. So one, I would do lots of deep breathing with my clients to help them to have an emotional release, have a physical release. But I'd go, okay, take a deep breath. And I would breathe in myself and feel like I should be able to take a deeper breath. So I knew that there was some restriction in there, but I really didn't know how to release that on myself. And then I worked a lot with my elbows. And so I was developing a lot of pain issues and tightness and restriction in my shoulders. So I knew there were some downsides to what I was doing that I needed to work on. I'm still a work in progress 5 years on. I still block pretty much every day and do the fluid isometrics on myself, and things have improved greatly. I can do amazingly deep breaths. If I'm receiving a massage and someone says, oh, take a deep breath, I do a very deep, full, but quiet breath. They don't even know I'm doing it because I expand my whole rib cage, which is amazing. I also have noticed on myself, so the shoulder issues has improved and a few other issues have also improved. But I've especially noticed in the past 6 months or so of really paying attention to my whole life, being more consistent with blocking on myself and having good morning self-care routine, that my stamina has increased tremendously. I work 5 to 6 hours of hands-on time. So that works out to about an 8.5, 9-hour day. I'm middle-aged, not in my 20s, far from it. And I can give a great massage at the end of the day because I have that stamina there. And that, to me, that's really, that says a lot when I look at other people my age and the health challenges that they're facing, the physical challenges that they're facing. And I know that it's because I've been using block therapy on myself that I'm not facing a lot of those same challenges.
That is so exciting. And I fully agree that endurance piece that comes with the breath, like the consistency of making sure that that ATP and all of those cells are being fed as you're using your body through the day. That is amazing. Because I as well, I can, work upwards of 8 hours a day on patients and get through that. But there are a lot of people where, especially the fact that we're both middle-aged. I'm 53. So,
I'm 52, right
well,
there
you
with you.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that says a ton about what you're doing for yourself and that self-care aspect. So thank you so much for sharing that. So how has your approach to your client changed since learning this process?
I used to have a lot of people that would come looking for me to fix them. So I have this issue, can you fix this? And now I have attracted clients who are looking to learn and who are more interested in working on themselves. Because as you know, like if you spend an hour and a half or 2 hours with someone once a month, you're going to have a little bit of change. But what we do every day can make a huge change in our life. So I really try and talk to people about block therapy before they even come in. I send them the video about fascia and about diaphragmatic breathing. So when they come in, they are already familiar with that and they're familiar with you and Quinn. And I try and really engage them that even if you're using a rolled up towel, let's do that postural exercise. Or let's breathe into the towel in the belly every day. Here is a sampler program. Could you do that at home? Because again, I want them to take ownership of their own health and well-being. And I want them to realize that I'm not here to fix them. I'm here to guide them and assist them, but they're in the driver's seat of their own health, whether that be through food, through exercise, through breath work, body work, whatever that is. They're the ones that are making those choices day in and day out. And therefore, I'm finding people who are healing faster because they're doing the work at home and seeing myself. And so that, it is a sense of gratification when you know that you're helping someone, and not just with a pain in the neck, but maybe with their whole life. Maybe they're seeing their whole life in a different perspective, in that they too can have more stamina and energy. And they too can age in a healthier way with fewer issues and problems if they make those changes and steps every day now. And that's
how fulfilling for you.
Yeah.
You're like a partner with them on their health journey and teaching them. So you're not just there to make them feel good in the moment.
Right.
You're truly giving them a whole different path.
Yes. One of my clients likes to say, oh, it's not just a massage. and that's really and truly a profound statement, because I like them to come here and leave with the tools to help make their lives more enjoyable. And what better job than that, than to help people feel better every day.
And I love it too, because I've had, we can get labeled a certain way, you're a healer, you're a therapist, you're whatever. But what we're really doing with this is we're teaching people how to heal themselves. And we're simply that facilitator, but that relationship with you is so impactful and so profound that you're actually teaching them that the power lies within themselves. They may need help once in a while, but that power is within you. And that is what makes me so excited when I see that somebody has really grasped the ability to breathe properly. I know that that person now, their life has changed forever, because we're completely different animals really when we're conscious breathers compared to when we're not. So that always excites me so much when I can see that I've provided some kind of information or process for them that teaches them to turn that healing potential on within themselves, because I know that their life is, you know, again, it's changed forever. So what would be your approach if I were to come into your treatment room first time? How would you approach me?
First off, you would have had watched the video about fascia and about diaphragmatic breathing, which I would go back to and reference again. I have my clients usually bring a bathing suit or a sports bra and shorts so we can take a couple of pictures so that I can show them what I'm seeing, whether that's posture, whether that's pulling in the fascia, if they're standing with their toes out or their head to the side, so they can really see the full picture of themselves. And then we dive in. So we start with the belly. I use 6 blocks in my session, depending on the person. So if someone's coming in with maybe a lot of hip issues, I might change it up a bit. But I start with a block in each glute, block in each hamstring, and a block under each calf. So they are laying on a mattress on the floor, face up, and they have those 6 blocks elevating them, and then they're resting down on that. And then we start in working on the belly, and we just go from there. So we work on their breath a bit and start to open up the diaphragm, and then we may go up towards the rib cage, neck, shoulders, or we might go down depending on where my hands take me.
Now, I imagine if somebody's taken the time to do the pre-education before coming in, they're open to a different approach into their body, but how are you experiencing that?
Yeah, and I also used to let my clients book their own appointments, and I don't do that anymore. We actually have a phone conversation first so that they understand that this isn't a relaxation Zen type massage, that they are coming in to do some deep fascia work that is deeply relaxing, because they do feel very relaxed when they've been breathing properly, when we've been releasing the tissue, when they can feel the blocks that I say, when you put those blocks under your glutes, they're going to feel like you're laying on a brick to start with. And we talk a little bit about having 80% of the weight on the balls of your feet and what that does to the back of your body. And so your body forgets that it can relax. And now you're laying on those blocks and it's starting to relax, and my hands aren't even there. It's been very well received. I would say almost always, not 100% of the time. Sometimes people get talked into coming by someone else and they're not quite ready for this experience. They're looking for more typical, my neck hurts, can you rub my neck type massage. But overall, even in an hour, they will notice a significant difference in their pain level, in their ability to breathe diaphragmatically, in their ability to stand straighter, feel more relaxed. And therefore, I'm often asked if I take new clients because they know a friend or a family member who could really use this type of work.
So now you're approaching the body with the blocks and your hands potentially, or just the blocks resting. And then you're also applying fluid isometrics into your clients. What is your perspective of that? Are you enjoying that process? Do they enjoy it? Because it's a pretty different process than your typical, stroking.
Yeah. So interestingly, I used to do belly abdominal work in my previous massage as well, but just in a different way. And I prefer this approach because I come in a little more gentle. I always tell them we will only go as deep as they can comfortably breathe in a relaxed manner. They're in the driver's seat. And I check in a lot the first visit, especially, and just, how are you feeling with this? Oh, are you feeling that? And what I appreciate about it is a very gentle way of exploring and finding areas that they maybe didn't even know they had that were tight, or often don't know. And even though it's a little different for them, because I've explained that we're going to start in the belly, and you might feel the pain, pulse, or pressure, and that's okay. We talk about things. When I take my hand away and have them just do a couple of breaths, they always notice the difference. And that in the first 5 to 10 minutes establishes a pattern of, oh, this is different, but then this works.
That's really exciting. And just, listening to you, if I were a new person that had issues and I was seeking out somebody to look after me, your whole process sounds so integrative and so complete that, like, right away, I just feel a trust that I want to continue seeing this person, or I want to see this person, because I feel that you really have a grasp on what's going on in their body before they even necessarily meet you, which is just very, that's so wonderful. I love your approach. Now, what's super cool for me to hear is you've really become creative. Like, you've been given some tools and you have a very specific approach that's yours. How does that feel to be able to just kind of use what you have and make it up as you go and create a whole process and system for yourself that you have learned to rely on, that you love to do? What's that like?
It's been really interesting for me, actually, because I tend to, I don't know if I want to say be a follower, but you show me how to do it, I'm going to do it that way. And so finding the creativity in it, or saying, I'm thinking we might try this. Are you open to trying this? And then we'll try it. And, sometimes it's a hit, and sometimes they're like, I don't really notice much. And then we go to something else. But I will say you've given us a lot of tools, and the training that we have, especially the ongoing training with using the fluid isometrics in different approaches, has been very, very helpful to just play and just see where our hands go in the session. And I'll say to my clients, if something comes into my head twice, that's a sign for me that I need to just see what this is about. And that might be, we're working the abdomen, we're going to go down to the toes. And for them going, yeah, okay, let's try it. And then we find something down there. It's very interesting for them and for me, and learning to just trust my intuition with it. And also feel that I don't have to be perfect. I just have to follow the fascia and help them breathe, and they're going to feel so much better.
I love that you use the word play, because that's how I approach it too. It should be fun. We should be enjoying what we do. So are you feeling that this has enhanced your enjoyment of your time with your clients?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Because I feel like even if we're not finding maybe the root issue, or able to address the root issue, the first visit or the second visit, we are going to keep working away and releasing our way to that issue. Or as a team, they're going to be blocking on something at home and go, oh, that was better today. So yes, that has changed my interaction with my clients a lot. I'm not as, I don't know if the word is methodical, because I tend to do often a lot of the same things because so many people present with the same issues. But then every once in a while, it's like, no, let's go do this instead, because this is what's calling to me. And that makes my day a lot more interesting. And it makes it a lot more interesting for the clients too. They're not getting the same massage every time they come. And I had quite a while ago someone who had regular massages, and I was really called to work on their feet. And they came back a couple days later and they said, for 20 years, I've had pain in my legs every night. And this is the last 2 nights were the first time I had no pain in my legs. And so that, you think about day after day, this person waking up with pain and now they're not. That is so fulfilling to help them take those steps so that they can live a better, more enjoyable life for themselves.
So on that note, totally agree. Do you have one other success story that you can think of that you'd like to share?
Yeah, one of my clients was a new client during COVID. And so, it's been challenging not being able to see people's faces and that. And I almost feel like we don't have as much of a connection when we have our masks on and that. But she was kind of quiet and came in with some shoulder pain and a few other health issues. And I think by her second visit had purchased a block starter program and was very diligently doing one class per day. And about a month to 6 weeks in, I can't remember exact time frame, I was looking back over her intake form and I said, "Oh, how's your shoulder pain?" And she said, "What shoulder pain?" And I said, "Well, on your intake form, you said one of your areas of concern was that you had this left shoulder pain." And she's like, "Well, it's gone." She said, "So much so that I forgot that I'd even had it." And so that's so fulfilling that between her work at home and our work together, and she had no more shoulder pain. And now, we've got such a good connection, and she loves the block. She loves her block baby. She sleeps with both of them at night. And she's like, "Oh, I don't go anywhere without my blocks," and has sent a few people to see me as well. So, we have a very good relationship. We talk about you a lot, your classes, and how much it's changed her life.
So from the business perspective, has this enhanced not just your client's world and your personal world, but your business world? Has it made a positive difference to that as well?
It really has. I had goals of being fully booked, but again, because I'm not an RMT, insurance companies usually don't cover my services. And so it has been a little challenging for people to pay out of pocket for my services. But when they have success, they're happy to do that. Even when they have benefits, they will not use them and come for a session with me because they feel like it is so much more effective. And so from a business perspective, I have gone to being fully booked. There's been times where I've not been taking more clients because I haven't been able to care for even the clients that I do have. And I respect my own limits. And I have found the level of work in a week that works for my body and for my life, because it's not all about work. And I am going to work to live, not live to work. So I'm able to charge more for my sessions than I previously was able to. And I have several people who book a full year at a time because they want their particular spot. Sometimes it's every week and sometimes it's every 3 weeks or once a month, but they want to have their tune-up, we call it, when they want it. And so for my business end of things, it's really nice to look 4 months down the road and see that I'm 70% booked already. And I can fit new clients in here or there. I used to take tourists because I live in a tourist destination. And so people would call and I'd say, "Oh yeah, I have an opening, I can fit you in." And that's not always a bad thing. Like I've introduced a few people. I saw somebody show up in the block therapy community. She's like, "Oh, I had a session with Tami and I came home and I got the block therapy program and I love it." But I'm a planner. And so I like to look at my week and see that my week is full. I don't like to leave things to maybe a tourist is going to phone. And I'm able to do that. So I now, if I have one opening, I'll pop it up on Facebook, and usually within an hour, that spot is filled. So I'm making more money. I'm happier with what I do. My schedule is filled and my clients are happy. And so it's a win-win-win-win for me all around.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Is there any last words? Anything else you'd like to say before we end off here?
Yeah, I would. What really drew me was the fact that you are very approachable and you don't make anyone feel less than. So you have a lot of training and you have a lot of knowledge, but the way that it's presented is very accessible. And that's hugely important because many of us can feel intimidated. And I have never felt intimidated with you. I've always felt like it's a very safe place to ask questions and be heard and to give suggestions and be heard. And that I very appreciate. And also the fact that it's very scientific. A lot of people are hesitant with their approach to their self-care and they have certain parameters that they want their wellness self-care to fit into. And this is very scientific, talking about fascia, using a wooden block. There's nothing woo-woo about it. And that makes it comfortable for a lot of people. And so that made it comfortable for me to be able to be a part of it and to be able to promote it, because I promote block therapy all the time.
Wow.
I only carry 2 things for sale in my office, and the blocks are one of them. Amazing.
Well, Tami, if it sounds like it's not like you need people to reach out to you, but if you were so inclined, where would they find you?
They can find me at greenorchidwellness.com. And I'm on Facebook under the same Green Orchid Massage and Wellness, or Green Orchid Massage. Put in Green Orchid in BC, you will find me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tami, so much. This has been incredibly valuable information for people, whether you're a client wanting to receive the work or you're wanting to potentially take part in this training process. This has been super helpful. So thank you so much. And thank you all for listening.
Having me.
My pleasure. Bye, everyone.